commentary on John 10s of 1 to 21, the Good Shepherd and his sheep. John 10, 1 to 21 unfolds as a continuation of the tension introduced in chapter 9, where sight and blindness, both physical and spiritual, are contrasted. Here, the imagery shifts to a shepherd and his flock, but the underlying issue remains the same: recognizing the true voice of God versus the voice of imposters. 1. The contrast between true and false shepherds, VV 1 to 6. Jesus begins with a solemn declaration: anyone who does not enter through the door of the sheepfold is a thief and a robber. This establishes a contrast between legitimate and illegitimate leadership. The sheepfold represents the covenant community, and the shepherd is the rightful guide of that people. The shepherd enters by the door, is recognized by the gatekeeper, and calls his own sheep by name. The sheep respond not to coercion, but to familiarity. They know his voice. This speaks to an inward recognition rather than external compulsion. Truth is not merely imposed, it is discerned. The strangers, by contrast, are not followed. Their voices are foreign, lacking the resonance of truth. This exposes the failure of the religious leaders who, though claiming authority, do not carry the voice that gives life. 2. Jesus as the door, 7 to 10. Jesus clarifies the metaphor. He himself is the door of the sheep. Access to life, safety, and pasture is not found through systems, institutions, or traditions, but through him. All who came before me are thieves and robbers does not condemn every prior messenger, but those who claimed authority apart from divine commission. The focus is on self-appointed leadership that burdens rather than liberates. The promise here is profound. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved and will go in and out and find pasture. This describes freedom, not restriction, movement, not confinement. The life offered is not merely survival, but abundance. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, imagery pointing to systems that drain life and impose fear. In contrast, Jesus gives life in its fullness, not as a future abstraction, but as a present reality breaking into the world. Jesus as the Good Shepherd, Viva 11:15. The image deepens. Jesus is not only the door, but the Good Shepherd who lays down his life for the sheep. This is the defining mark of true leadership: self-giving love rather than self-preservation. The hired hand, who lacks true investment in the sheep, abandons them in danger. This reflects leadership driven by obligation rather than relationship. When pressure comes, such leadership fails. But the Good Shepherd knows his sheep intimately, and they know him. This mutual knowing mirrors the relationship between the Father and the Son, deep, personal, and unbreakable. The care described here is not distant oversight, but shared life. 4. One flock, one shepherd, 16. Jesus speaks of other sheep, not of the current fold. This signals an expansion beyond the immediate audience. The boundaries of the covenant community are being redefined, not by ethnicity or law, but by response to his voice. There will be one flock, one shepherd. Unity is not achieved through uniformity of external practice, but through shared life under one shepherd. The division between groups is dissolved in him. 5. The voluntary sacrifice, VV 17-18. The laying down of his life is not forced but chosen. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. This emphasizes authority even in death. The purpose is not defeat but restoration. He lays it down in order to take it up again. This reveals that what appears as loss is actually the means of life. The shepherd's death is not the end of the story, but the doorway into a new reality. 6. Division among the people, 19-21. The response to these words is division. Some accuse him of madness. Others recognize something deeper. His words do not align with darkness, nor do his works. This division highlights a recurring theme. The same voice that brings clarity to some brings confusion to others. The difference lies not in the message, but in the hearer. Summary reflection. John 10, 1-21 presents a powerful picture of identity, access, and belonging. The focus is not on striving to become part of the flock, but on recognizing the voice that has already called. Life is not mediated through external systems, but through a person. The shepherd does not demand life from the sheep. He gives his own. The door is not guarded to people out, but open to bring them in. The result is a life marked by freedom, security, and abundance, grounded in relationship rather than performance. In this passage, the emphasis is clear. The defining reality is not human effort to reach God, but God's initiative to bring people into life through the shepherd who knows them by name.